Standardized testing is used almost everywhere to evaluate a student's knowledge. This is not good for the students who do not fit the perfect narrative of a student. GradePowerLearning.com says that standardized testing attempts to take an across-the-board measurement of a student's educational ability. It is used to determine current averages and see the low and high performers of a class, so that they can be treated accordingly. Now, there are some positives to standardized testing, but it has been proven that they are much more harmful than beneficial. Me and my friends have experienced the downsides of standardized testing personally, whether it was knowing all the material front and backwards and failing the test, or cramming the information in just enough to pass the test. Today, I will be explaining the negative effects of standardized testings and how it is overused. You may be wondering how this affects you. If you have ever felt not good enough or just plain dumb because of a grade on a test, then this applies to you. In my speech today, I will cover topics such as why standardized testing is used, the harmful effects of standardized testing, options to use instead of standardized testing, and why standardized testing does not work. After giving you just a brief overview of my speech, I will now talk about exactly why standardized testing is used. Standardized testing is used everywhere to determine a student academically, where they are academically. From this, they may be put in a different class or just treated differently. Standardized testing allows parents and teachers to see where a student is compared to the other students. It also provides guidelines. These guidelines provide teachers with what to teach throughout the year. After explaining just a little bit on why standardized testing is used, I will now explain the harmful effects that come from it. 15 Reasons Why Standardized Tests Are Problematic explains how test can equal stress. Brain research shows that too much stress can cause psychological and physical harm. Lionsdale.org says that standardized testing replaces students' normal learning habits with stressful preparation. This leads to students believing that the grade that comes with their test is way more important than actually learning the material. Studying takes up quality time of a student's life. Instead of being outside, having fun, or at least learning useful information, they're stuck inside, memorizing and repeating basic info they will use only for the test. After explaining how harmful standardized testing can be, I will now explain why it does not work. Teachers end up teaching the test. This means that the teacher will only teach the information that will lead to a good grade on a test and not stick with the student. This leads to grades being the main focal point instead of actually learning the information. Standardized testing provides no feedback. Students cannot see where to improve, which leads to the students feeling like they are incapable of learning or making progress. Why standardized tests are bad says that students aware of their grade weight are willing to do whatever it takes to get a good grade. This means cheating or taking performance-enhancing drugs to get them a good grade. Effects of standardized testing on students and teachers, key benefits and challenges says that standardized tests fail to account for the students who do not demonstrate academic proficiency in different ways. Creativity is suppressed through yes, no, or multiple choice questions. There is no room for a creative answer when the answer is just black and white. After going through how harmful standardized testing can be, I will now explain what can be used instead of it. Now, standardized testing is not easy to just cut out, but there are performance-based assessments that can be used, such as proficiency-based assessments and competency-based assessments. Students will produce work with high-level thinking and real-world applications. They will do group work with complex problems that allows students to be creative over normal testing. Portfolios can also be used for each student. They will be made up of physical documents or digital collections with written assignments, honors, or awards. Now, there are certainly some positives to standardized testing, but after my research, I have found that the downsides outweigh the positives by far. The negatives are that there's excess stress, not actually learning the material, teachers teaching the test instead of students actually learning it, and other topics I have covered in my speech. I'm urging you to look at school in a little bit of a different light. Not everything should come down to a grade. A student should not be defined by a number or a letter on a test. There should be other ways to evaluate students' knowledge that give room for them to be creative. And that's more effective than just by whether or not they take test well. I believe standardized testing should be eliminated and other things that allow for more creativity should be used. These are my note cards.